We're talking about entrepreneurship, and I just had to pull this man on the show. He's happened to be in Cleveland, my good friend L.J. Jennings.
Yes,
we go
sir.
back like rocking chairs.
Long time.
Well, we've known each other since
Long
late,
time.
mid-90s or
Yeah,
something like that.
absolutely.
We're talking 25, 30 plus years. We may be dating ourselves, but we go way, way, way back. So I had to bring him in to talk to him because he's had a major career. You started off doing mortgages first?
Yeah, I was in mortgages for a long time. When I first left the banking world, I started a mortgage company and did mortgages. That was primarily my foray into the real estate arena. After having my license for many years, I was just, I got my license in early 80s. I think it was 81 or 82.
Oh, wow, 2020, right?
Yeah.
With the Reaganomics and interest rates,
Absolutely,
20%.
yeah.
Inflation, 20% or something like
Yeah,
that.
so we got, and then I wasn't really practicing, but then after I left banking, got into on the mortgage side of the equation.
Yeah, and you're from Oakland.
Oakland, California, that's right.
Yeah, so.
The home of the former Oakland A's and the former Warriors and the former Raiders.
We're not going to get into that because I don't want to push his chair over. We've had our battles with the Warriors over the years and the Cavs, so
Yeah.
we're going to let that kind of go right now and just keep it on the business tip so we can keep it legit. And then after you got into real estate, you started doing REO stuff.
Yeah, so then I after having run a mortgage company for a while, I got in, started on the real estate side of the equation.
Okay.
And on the real estate side of the equation, it was really mostly just, local folks, working with folks I knew. And then that morphed into the REO space.
Okay.
And as you know, we launched the REO space and really put together a curriculum around REOs and started going around the country teaching real estate brokers how to get into the REO space. And I think over the years that I was doing that, we probably taught maybe 8,000 real estate folks on how to get into the REO space and how to develop that as a pipeline and an opportunity to run their, to be part of the real estate business.
And for those who don't know what REO, it just stands for real estate owned. So that's a bank foreclosed property that goes back to the bank and then the bank resells it, or asset manager, etc. So that's what we're referring to when we talk in that language. So I don't want to lose anybody in the lingo.
Yeah, no, for sure. That is the key. As you already said, when banks take back a piece of property or foreclose on a piece of property from someone that could not make the payment or what have you, then they take that asset, that property, and then they assign it to an asset manager who then assigns it to a real estate practitioner in the local markets. And part of what we did was just really worked with the Realtist organization, the National Association of Real Estate Brokers, as you're aware of, to get many of the real estate brokers signed up onto different platforms so that they could be the recipient of those assets and then earn some additional revenue to sell.
So kind of guide us through your walk. I mean, you started off originating, you had a mortgage company, I think you had a partner in that, and then you went to setting up the brokerage, you did that piece, then you kind of did the sales division under our trade association, and you started doing the REOs and that. Walk us through those three phases.
Yeah, what's interesting is they're all connected in some kind of way, right? It's all under the real estate banner, and one of if I just as a side note, one of the greatest opportunities in business is real estate, right?
Right.
Because there's so many disciplines within real estate. So in California at the time, that one license allowed you to do real estate and mortgage.
Okay.
At that time. And so it was an easy switch to go from the mortgage side of the equation and then just start representing buyers on the real estate side of the equation.
Got it.
So it was real easy because it was one license, didn't require anything additional.
Wow, I never knew that.
Yeah, one license did both.
Wow.
And so that was an easy pivot.
Right.
And so we were able to, and then as I did more on the real estate side, specifically with the NAREP sales division, in the foreclosure space, in the REO space, I really began to do more of that and less on the mortgage side of the equation.
Gotcha.
Because as I was traveling around the country doing the trainings, that takes up a lot of time. So we were running both of them at one time. Mortgages not as much as more on the real estate foreclosure side of the equation. And so doing those both things, and then more so than all of that kind of led into NARAB, doing more with NARAB, more on the sales division side of the equation, and then certainly more with NARAB as a whole,
Yes.
organizationally.
Yes.
And so all of those things were just natural progressions of what we were just doing all the time.
Okay.
And didn't really require any additional skill set, so to speak. It was just natural progression. And so that now we've morphed into development.
Okay. Well, let me stop them on
Okay.
NAREB. That stands for NAREB.com. NAREB.com is the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. That's the African American Real Estate Trade Association, established in 1947. Oldest and largest. It's about 120 chapters throughout the United States. We have one in Cleveland. There's one in Oakland. They're all throughout the United States. It's probably one in your market for those who are watching, if you're not already members of our organization. And we help underserved communities, and it's a black trade association. So
Yeah, let me just add to that, because after all of what you said is absolutely spot on. But one of the distinctions, and certainly from real estate perspective, right?
Right.
The term realtor has just been it's been overutilized. Everybody in real estate, we just call them realtors. It's kind of like
100%.
Xerox or Kleenex or that kind of thing. Those are brand names.
Yes.
Realtor is the designation for those that belong to the National Association of Realtors. And so I say that only to draw the distinction between just the overuse of that name, realtor. But the other thing I think is important when we talk about NARAB is not just the fact that we help underserved communities, as you already know, but we do it in terms of practicing real estate in a very different way.
Okay.
In terms of the work that we do in working with individuals. If they're not ready, we help work with them to get them ready,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that everyone, the realtors doesn't do that, but I mean, that's really, I think, the sweet spot for NARAB members is how we might start with someone, and I can just remember, I used to have file cabinets full of drawers, files of people that weren't ready at that time,
Yes.
that we worked with over months and months and months, and whether it was
Some
cleanup
cases
or
years.
yes, years,
Yeah.
right, to get them ready. And but that I think that is what distinguishes a NARAB member from just the average real estate folks out there. And so so I just want to make that plug, because I think it's a valuable piece for folks to understand the distinction. And then we worked with NARAB, and so I morphed into not just development, doing a lot of development, still doing a lot of development, but then that journey, that journey has gone into housing now,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Not just on the development side of the equation, but housing people, housing vulnerable populations or marginalized populations or populations that have specific, whether it's formerly incarcerated or individuals that have behavioral health issues or transitioned age youth coming out of foster care, the different populations, so housing. And really what I did, and you've heard some of this already, Cartwright, is that I just went from housing one family at a time to now housing hundreds of people at a time.
Right.
But I'm using the same skill set.
Yes.
And again, that's the beauty of real estate, right? It's just not one-dimensional. It's not just one way. I'm just taking the same experience I have, the same passion I have, the same all of that, and then just looking at how do I take this experience and leverage it across the spectrum of real estate.
Right.
And so
Same
now
thing with a person being a landlord and they got
Yeah.
10 properties or 20 properties or 50 units. You're just doing it in a different manner.
Absolutely. And so, so we still do development, but we're also now, do housing, where we buy, former hotels. We convert a hotel to housing, and now we're housing, hundreds of folks at a time,
Right.
whether they're homeless or whether they're formerly incarcerated or foster care or whatever the case may be. Whatever those opportunities are and whatever the need is, we're able to now do all of that. But again, all of that stems from my original license back in the early 80s.
That's where you got your start.
Yeah, from way back then. And so to anybody that's looking, anybody that's watching, paying attention, again, real estate is not one-dimensional. You can start at one place and then look at all the opportunities that are available to you as a licensee.
Well, the key element is getting started, and then once you're in that space, it'll take you anywhere you want to go, basically. You know, once you get in the car, you can drive anywhere, pretty much.
No question.
Well, as long as there's roads, right?
Yep, that's
So
it.
there's roads in real estate, and as one of our members say, you just got to figure out what exit to take, and be able to move forward. So, talk a little bit about the development side and what developers should look at when they're looking to do that, and then we'll talk a little bit about housing, you know, these marginalized populations as well.
Yeah, so development is an interesting segment of the real estate arena.
Okay.
It's interesting in that it's a longer period of time, right?
Got it.
Developments don't take, you don't build developments overnight.
Exactly.
My first project that I built took 9 years, right?
Right.
And primarily, for those that are interested in development, primarily one reason and one reason only, for the most part, is when you develop, first of all, I develop affordable housing.
Right.
I don't develop market rate housing. So when you develop affordable housing, and in California, where I'm from, it's $650 a square foot to build.
Ooh, Lord.
I mean, it's just, yeah, it's, the number is just staggering. And so, when you build affordable housing at those kind of rates, you need subsidy.
Yes.
You need some kind of way to help you get the capital to build that. And one of the only ways is through tax credits.
Yes.
So the state issues tax credits, and that's very, very competitive to build affordable housing. And so it takes a long time to build. So, but we build affordable housing units through tax credits. Typical standard one development, typically at 50 units is kind of the threshold. A 50 unit development will probably take you 5 to 7 years.
Right.
On average.
Okay.
It doesn't really matter where you are, just because to go through the entitlement process, get the permits, do all of the analysis, the inspections, get your capital stack, all of that. It's going to take
Land and all of that.
yeah, it's going to take you 5 to 7 years.
Right.
So it's patient, but it's a great way to build community. It's a great way to certainly add to the housing stock, and a great way to be able to create housing for those individuals that are just above the poverty line or there. As you know, we have homeless issues all over the country.
Right.
And part of that is just because of the affordability of housing. And so
Especially in California and in Oakland. Oh my God.
especially in California and Oakland.
What
So
is the homeless population numbers now?
in Oakland, we have currently, right now, as of our last data, we have 6,000 people on the streets any given night in Oakland. 6,000, and we have 400,000 population. So we have 400,000 population in Oakland. About 6,000 individuals are on the street at any given night. Of that 6,000, 95% of them are black. And so the numbers are disheartening, to say the least.
Yes.
But
And can you feed those individuals or help them? Because I know I was working with some investors from Portland, and they said, well, you can't even feed the homeless in Portland. You have to have a permit from the city to be
Yeah.
able to help somebody and give them a meal.
Yeah, not in Oakland.
Okay, okay.
We have services, folks that go out to feed them. We have folks that have portable showers,
Okay.
take showers around so
Oh,
that
wow.
they can take showers. So there's a lot of assistance
That's
through
good.
nonprofit organizations, that
Gotcha.
is, churches and faith-based organizations that go out and service them. Portland's a different animal, so
Yeah.
there's always these ideas about what can you do to attack the homeless issue. And
Yeah.
some folks are about, okay, create more housing, then there's others about more services, then there's others about more funding, and then there's on the policy side, make homelessness illegal and don't let people help them because it just promotes homelessness. I don't know that there's anybody that technically chooses to be homeless.
Right, right.
I mean, I think that everyone wants to be housed, and so it's just how do we get them to that place, and what do we need to do as individuals, city, municipalities, volunteers, whoever, to make that happen.
Okay, okay.
So, but development is a great way, just another real estate another journey in real estate to create housing.
Okay, okay, okay. So what would you recommend for somebody looking to get into development space?
So there are a number of organizations, LISC being one of them, and LISC is pretty much all over the country. They have, and neighborhood housing services.
Okay.
A number of neighborhood housing services has, they have these emerging developer courses,
Okay.
curriculums, and here in Cleveland, Village Capital
Yes.
has a cohort or some model of training individuals in the development arena. I don't know, I can't tell you, how great those programs are.
Right.
I'm just aware that there are those. It gives you the introductory foundation level to get into development.
Yes, yes.
But there's nothing like being an intern in a nonprofit housing development entity.
Okay.
So for most folks, I would have them go and volunteer with a nonprofit housing development entity. And then they'll learn it, they'll learn so much more
Yeah,
by
leapfrog.
doing it.
Yeah, just by being involved. Yeah.
You're gonna be around the conversation, you're gonna be around real deals, real opportunities, real projects. You'll learn the vernacular, you'll learn the nuances, and you can, if you just volunteered with somebody for a year, you'd have so much under your belt.
And what about our organization? We got some.
Yeah,
we
so
got some things in that
National
space.
Association of Real Estate Brokers has a developer academy where individuals that are interested in development, it's a membership program. Those members that are part of our association that are interested in development want to go through a course that we have co-written with Enterprise Community Foundation. They have the opportunity to go through a 6-month cohort of training and again, building them and teaching them the development arena.
Process, okay.
Which is all good. All that is good information to have. You'll learn something. So most folks think that development is easy. It's not easy. It's a lot of time. There's a lot of pieces and parts to learn about development that just doesn't come.
Yeah, I have a lady that works in my office, Deborah Wilson always says, when you see it going up, it's too late. It's already been in process. You see, wow, they just built that building there, but they don't know that they've been assembling the land for 2 to 5 years, and then they've been going through trying to get approved for tax credits, and now you're just seeing the finished product go up, and you thinking like, wow, whoever put that up, they're cleaning up, they make a bunch of money, but they don't really know the time element and all of the energy that's been put in something like that to bring it to fruition.
And not only that, you're right, but the money that's been advanced.
Yes.
To get to breaking ground, those are pre-development dollars. Those are the most difficult dollars to secure, and many times by the time you see it gone up, those entities, organizations, individuals, whoever they may be, they came out of pocket to do a lot of the work.
Yes,
And
yes,
so,
yes, all the prep work.
Yeah, so there's a lot that goes into it. A lot that goes into it.
So now talk a little bit about like housing and getting in that space of housing these different underserved populations that you're going in.
Yeah, I, as a business entrepreneur, and I've worked for myself. I think my last job that I had was in banking that I left in '84.
Okay.
It's for me, doing the work that I do and that we do as an entity and organization is all about all about helping people.
Gotcha.
It's all about ministry for us.
Okay.
It's all about how do we see what is needed, and how can we be part of the solution.
Now clarify that ministry part for our listeners that may not be aware.
Okay.
Where were you speaking?
Okay, so everything that we do is under the banner of our church, Kingdom Builders.
Okay.
I pastor a church in Oakland, California, and so all of the work in housing, and not just housing, but community work, development, all of that, we do under the banner of faith-based,
Okay.
under the banner of our church.
Okay.
And so we have housing programs, we have community programs where we do a lot of different community work, building community, building capacity, all those kind of things. So we do all of those things, but it's all, again, all under the banner of the church. And so when we talk about ministry, it's in that context. It's in the context of ministry, and it's in the context of the fact of the matter is that we all have gifts. We all have been blessed with gifts. And the gifts that we have are never for us. The gifts that we have are always to be given.
Yes, yes.
And so part of the challenge is recognizing that you have a gift, and whatever that gift is, and you know, your gift that you've been endowed with is always for other people.
Exactly.
I know that we think it's for us, and so we want to charge people, and we want to rate people, and we want to do this, do that, because we're using our gift and we need the money. But be that as it may, it's all, we live by a little different model. If you know, in terms of using your gift, which is ministry, and ministry is not just, you know, on a Sunday behind some closed doors with a cross on the building.
Right, right.
Ministry is whatever we do, whatever you're gifted, whatever your gift is, that's ministry.
Got you.
And so, and I always say, if you do the ministry, the money will follow.
Absolutely.
So if you just do the ministry, the money will follow. And so you don't have to worry about, you know, beating people up for your money. You don't have to worry about overcharging because you don't have enough business. I mean, it's just do the ministry, the money will follow, because you recognize you've been gifted. So everything we do is under the banner of ministry, under the banner of our church. And so we have housing programs. In 2016, or 2009, we started housing individuals that were recovering from drugs and alcohol.
Okay.
Just in a single family house.
Okay.
Single family residence, started putting people in. And we've grown that. And they, each of the residents in the house pays a program fee.
Okay.
They don't pay rent, they pay a program fee. And the program fee, it allows them to stay in the house and live in a sober environment.
And you guys cover everything? They're not paying any gas,
No,
lights,
they just
waters,
pay the program fee. We
Okay.
pay all expenses, and we give them most of the food that they eat.
So can you tell us about the programs that you offer?
Yeah, so we have a sober living program, individuals recovering from drugs and or alcohol that are disenfranchised from their family because, you know, because of the drugs, family put them out, or because of the drugs, they've lost housing, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, yeah.
So we house them.
Okay.
We house them. There's no time limit that they can stay there with us. We have guys that have been in some of our programs for years.
Okay.
So they're able to stay in a clean, sober environment, and they pay program fees, and they're on their own, literally.
Gotcha.
So that was in 2009. 2016, we expanded and started housing individuals that are formerly incarcerated.
Okay.
Individuals that are
That's considered a reentry.
Reentry.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, that's reentry work, and those are individuals that are coming directly out of incarceration. In our case, coming directly out of prison.
Right.
And then we expanded since then and added those that are coming out of jail.
Right.
The distinction is state prison is state and or federal prison is one. County jail is probation.
Okay.
Parole is federal or state.
Okay.
So those individuals come out of state and or federal incarceration is on parole, and those that come out of county jail is on probation.
Gotcha.
So we house both of those entities, individuals that are coming out. And then we've recently expanded and added individuals coming out of foster care.
Yes.
As they age out of foster care.
That's
at
like 18 to 28 or something?
18 to 25 in California.
Okay.
24, 25, depending on where it is. Those individuals lose all services when they get 18.
Right.
So they have no more benefits that are available, and so literally, almost like reentry. When you get out of prison for doing so many years, you leave out of there literally with maybe a bag of something, and $100 on a debit card or something.
Wow.
And so same kind of situation when you come out of foster care at 18, you have a bag of whatever, and
That's it.
yeah, that's it.
Wow.
Yeah. So we have different housing programs for different populations, but for us, again, all ministry work.
That's good. So what's been the biggest challenge in each of those different areas?
So the challenge, our model, the model that we operate by is two things. One is finding the appropriate kind of property,
Okay.
and I can talk about that in a moment, for certain type of property. And then the second one really is identifying a ongoing revenue stream to help fund it.
Right.
The property is, depending on which population you're trying to house,
Sure.
needs to be conducive to that population, i.e. in location, the number of rooms, the size of the rooms.
Okay.
If you're gonna have individuals share a room, needs to be large enough.
Got it.
It needs to be where there's easy transportation. So you need to do that, and it needs to be central to where folks can go get jobs. So there's a
Right.
number of things that go into finding the right location,
Right.
the building, the facility itself. And then it's identifying a revenue stream. Typically, we're talking about a government contract.
Okay.
Governments are always issuing requests for proposals for housing for different populations, just depends.
Gotcha.
And so it's having your ear to the ground and paying attention to all of those, and then being able to respond to those requests, and then being able, in terms of timing, being able to have a property that you can marry the two together.
Yeah, because
right?
you might be able to get a contract, but you don't have anywhere to
Yeah,
house it.
exactly, right, or vice versa.
Yep.
Or you've identified a great property, but yeah.
You know,
So,
population.
so sometimes it takes a seller that's patient. So you might find a property that works well, and the seller wants to sell, but you don't have this funding line, right?
Right.
So you gotta gauge the patience of the seller.
Gotcha.
Can you wait a year? And maybe you can. The last deal that we did took us 16 months.
Wow.
16 months, the seller waited though. So when you have a patient seller, it's a lot, the stress is not as high.
Smooth.
It's easier.
You have to acquire a property
Yeah.
and you sit on it for
Right.
and wait until you get it, and you can do everything all inclusive. And if you can't get the population and the right property at the same time, it's a no deal.
Absolutely. So that's the challenge. That's the challenge,
Right.
is being able to see both of those.
Okay.
And so in California, we have part of our state budget allocates dollars for housing.
Right.
In California, we call it the Home Keep program. And they allocate dollars for housing. And the dollars that they allocate for housing allows you to both buy and acquire and rehab.
Wow.
And,
That's powerful.
and puts program dollars in.
Wow.
So but again, competitive and every year. So you have to, again, timing and patient sellers, so yeah.
Much coordination. So closing out, what advice can you give to our real estate entrepreneurs as we look to finalize this whole piece?
Again, recognizing that real estate is not one dimensional.
Okay.
And number two is the same skill set that it's taken them to sell one house to one family is the same skill set to buy one building and house multiple families or multiple individuals.
Right.
The dollars are there. Municipalities are putting out the money.
Okay.
We're just not when I talk about we now, I'm talking about black folk.
Right, right.
We're just not in that space, we're not attuned to it. We feel like it's more than we can handle, or we just don't know enough about it. But there is enough intelligence, enough skill in our community to find out who knows and who can help. And if you, that same license that you have, leverage it into other avenues in real estate, and you can be multiple disciplines within real estate.
Yep, makes sense.
Makes sense. So I just would encourage them to not limit themselves just to selling one house at a time.
As I always say, you see what you look for. So if you're looking, concentrating on small, you're gonna get small. If you're looking large, looking at bigger vision, expand, you're gonna be able to expand.
Absolutely.
Just that simple.
And I teach a lot of this stuff.
Okay.
You know, really helping people figure out where these opportunities are, how to get into these opportunities, and what it takes to get into them. And you know, you talking to me, I grew up poor.
Right,
I mean, Oakland, we were poor.
Okay.
And I'm not that I'm rich now, but I'm saying,
Right.
it's just, it's up to you.
Right,
I
right.
mean, it's wonderful to have faith, but if you don't do anything with it. So,
without works is
there
dead.
you go.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on
Appreciate
short
it.
notice.
Thank you.
I know I kind of put you on the spot today,
all good.
but great that he's here. LJ Jennings, Oakland, California. So you want to close out with anything to tell our audience?
Absolutely. Just listen, wherever you are, doesn't matter wherever you are, the skill set, the talent, the ministry that you're in, if you use that ministry, again, you heard me define ministry, if you use that, you will be successful. God bless.
Thank you. Till next time, take care.